be like trying to kill each other without a little bit of love. Excuse the fact if you can hear my cat screaming. Let's get into it. This is my first read of the year, and we started off strong. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and a little bit of a spoiler, we loved it. It was great, it was fantastic. A few little niggles that I think could have made it incredible, but overall it was a great way to start a year. So let me tell you why. Okie doke, we're gonna start off with the plot. So this is 100% a plot driven book, like there's no doubt, right? But it was fabulous. I don't mind a plot driven book. I don't really need to be obsessed with the characters so long as they're written well. The plot is the most important, because also if you've got good characters but a rubbish plot, then what is even the point? So the concept, stunning. It's basically, I don't know, it's the Hunger Games in a vampire world, but they volunteered to go in there completely. So we have Araya, I don't know how you say her name, who is a human who was saved by the vampire king. He basically went and demolished her little village and then picked her out of it and saved her because she has gusto. That is what you're told at the beginning, but the story soon develops and the twists and the turns, honestly. So that's how it starts. She then grows up in this like a vampire world as only a human and like the daughter of the king. She basically decides she wants to enter the Hunger Games so that she can get a wish from the gods. And that wish is so that she can become strong and powerful and go back to her human little village and see if there's anybody there surviving. And, you know, just she's living in a world full of predators and she wants to be a predator too. And then basically, yeah, she just meets all these people, goes through this little thing. Obviously there's a romance. Obviously you can't be like trying to kill each other without a little bit of love. And then she meets, I don't even know what his name is. Rain, I want to say it is. He's dangerous. He's a ruthless vampire and an efficient killer. But what scares Araya is that she finds herself oddly drawn to him. Of course she does. So the overall concept is absolutely great. I love the way that the vampires are different. They're not just your typical burn in the sun, only come out at night type vampires. I mean, that happens too, but it's not just that. So they have wings, they can fly. There's different factions and different types. There's a different mythology as to why they exist. And in this world, vampires are born. They can be turned, but only like 1 in 3 vampires that have been turned survive. It's really like, it's not a common thing. And it's all about like what people will basically do to get the power. I really, 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 really enjoyed the actual concept, and I enjoyed all the twists and turns that came along with it. The story just kept getting better and better. The plot just kept building up and it was really good. There was no meh moments in there for me. I think everything in the plot served a purpose about ultimately getting you to the end, and then all of the final plot twists coming. I liked a few in there that I did not expect at all, and I think the writing was really good. I didn't really cringe at any of the romance. I've expected it, but it wasn't cringy. It was done, oh my god. The whole like concept of the gods is really interesting to me because it combines like a sense of like Greek mythology with a vampire book, with the Hunger Games, like a dystopia type book, and that's very interesting. There were a few plot holes, and I guess, I don't know which side this sits on, but there were a few plot holes in that, well, not plot holes, just missing information that I really could have done with. So overall, I think it needed more depth in the world building, because, let me get the map. So this is the world, right? And these are all like, I need to somehow pop the page. So these are all like the vampire factions in the vampire world. And over here it says the human nations. And it's never really addressed as to how or why all of this is vampire world and then that's human. Like, how did this happen? What is what is the backstory to the fact that the vampires have their own nations, and do the humans know about it? Because humans also live in these vampire nations, and they're like human districts that are supposedly protected, but they're really just big fat blood banks. Why? How? Do the humans know that they exist there? Do they just leave them to it? Like, there's a bit, you know, it's a bit like, give me the context to it. Like, I want to know how that happened. And then also, I had a little noodle around on Goodreads, so I tend to do this after I finished a book, because a lot of people bring up thoughts that I haven't actually thought about while I've been reading it, because I've just been in like the little bubble, and then they bring up points that I then agree with. So I agree that the characters were just really well written, but quite superficial. Like, you got, I'd say 10% of their wants, dreams and desires, and not a lot else. I needed more depth to really understand and really care about them. So there's obviously at one point that Araya and Rain become romantically linked. It's not a spoiler, it says it on the back. But ultimately, at the end, only one person can survive. So if the characters were written with more depth, I would have cared more about who was going to survive. I would have been more like invested, whereas I didn't really care. I was a bit like, ooh, let's see what's going to happen. So, you know, but equally the plot was really good. So that's not like, I didn't feel like I was lacking it until somebody pointed it out, and then I was like, good point. And that, to be fair, I think that was the main thing. I think there just could have been a little bit more depth in some areas, but otherwise it was an absolutely solid read. It's got me back into reading properly. It's my first read of the year, and we had an absolutely great time. So yeah, I would recommend. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Let me know if you have read this. Do you also feel the same, or do you feel different? I'm open to discussion. Comment them down below. But for now, I'll see you in the next one. Bye. There's book night in a duet. No, this is not book night. Oh my god. Okie dokie, okie dokie. Kiwi! She's being dramatic. Comment them down below. But anyway, and I'll comment them. Stop! I'm closing the door.